I thought we'd try to get through that quickly. St. Simon's future land use plan.
You want me to take it?
Yes, sir.
You all gave me marching orders 2 weeks ago tonight. So that one, I will tell you, I'm requesting some help tonight from a planning firm. So that one has been started. You all have received one memo from me about where I'm trying to go as far as some of the ordinance issues, identifying them, and I appreciate any feedback on those. You all have anything else? I'm trying to, I may see the forest, but I may not see an individual tree, so.
You may not get through the minutia.
Yes. Just give me a general wide swath of something, and I can narrow down to the actual ordinances affected by it.
Is this, just real quickly, is this something that we're going to be able to just take out as a professional service?
With the vote of the commission, yes.
With the supermajority.
We need a supermajority to do this. Okay.
And we will ask that you add it to tonight's agenda, okay. And I will email you the packet.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
So, I thought the presentation, who brought in the presentation we received?
Austin Katz.
Yeah.
That's not the firm I'm going with. My professional opinion is you cannot do what that transformation would occur in the time frame we got.
Right.
You need a lot of education and thought to switch from Euclidean zoning into form-based zoning.
That's years. Takes years.
And we brought it in just to kind of let people understand that what we're doing isn't the only way to do things.
Right.
Yeah.
And eventually we may want to get there. People need to kind of think out of the box. Okay? Anything on St. Right.
St. Simon's traffic study is on tonight's agenda to authorize going out for a consultant. It has been authorized by the BATS committee. So there's 33 intersections I've tentatively identified for doing double counts on and get a real good picture of the issues on the island. So.
Could I make a comment here? Regarding the traffic study, is there feasibility to including a transit system to incorporate that in your traffic study? I mean,
I can do that. I've had three studies done since I've been here, all of which have gotten to the point of the $1 million deficit operating thing.
Well, other than that, what's the problem?
You got JR's.
And I have never had any problem beyond that point.
Are you talking about a public transit system?
Yes, sir.
That's, I mean,
The studies cover the full public transit.
Yes, sir.
System, and they cannot be operated based on the study without having $1 million injected into
operation.
Transit.
We can get all kinds of equipment, and we've had a presentation recently, October, November, from Alan Burns, about modifying their program. They're under a different program that we would have to, and they could operate that. We'd have to do some modifications, but get a full proposal from them. But you're still going to operate at a deficit.
Oh yeah. In fact,
unless you're going to charge rates that are not reasonable to get ridership.
And real quickly, several years ago, there was a service that was started here in the county and the city, and I think it lasted maybe 6 months before it went belly up because it just couldn't sustain itself.
I was just talking about St. Simon's.
Yeah.
Well, I think there were two. I've seen 2 services started since I've been here. All my life.
Who broke that up?
Yeah. One had a lot of it.
Bob.
Yeah.
Bob.
I can close it with this. My very first CRC meeting last week, the first item on the agenda was to up the dues to the 10 counties that pay into the CRC by 30% to help pay for the $400,000 a year deficit that they're running on the transit system. I voted no. And I was outvoted 9-1. Surprise, surprise. I still don't know whether we have to pay the extra money every year. It's $30,000 more.
I think we do because we're members.
Well,
how much do we pay them now?
About 100, I think.
No, it's $1 per head.
Yeah,
so
it's $1 per head based on the population.
82,000.
No, we don't pay for the city.
Well, they had on our budget, they had 82, and then they had the city.
I think we do pay for the city.
We do. Yeah.
I don't think,
They really are.
So we paid for the city and did the city pay for the city?
Yeah.
You're talking about double dipping.
that's an audit.
Oh, you don't know.
JR.
Can't have an audit. Are you crazy? It costs $100,000 to audit the ADQ. There's no way.
All right, Mr. Chairman.
Countywide, is that Mike?
All right, that's on tonight's,
Yeah,
a meeting, we talked about it, finance,
Right.
this is also out of bats.
right.
All right, landscape ordinance, you all authorized that as part of my package on the 5th, as with the tree replacement program, for which we have 3 trees to start that tree replacement program with.
Tim's already spoken for.
Tree preservation and subdivision, that's on my shopping list from February the 5th. Okay, now we're down to serious stuff. Dirt roads. We have a provision in the zoning ordinance, and subdivision ordinance that deals with the dirt roads. And to which there has been general acceptance that we're not going to do this. However, there's mechanisms to go around it. And this came up with regard to development in District 1. We usually don't have them, but I will tell you, most of the pressure we get to allow dirt roads, Mr. Brunson can speak to this because it was on, when he was on the planning commission, came from commission members to allow someone to do it. It's just going to be a family division.
That's the reason I ran. That's the reason I ran for county commission.
Hey, I have not been.
No. I said prior. See, he was on the planning commission when we got this pressure. So we work with Aaron and ratchet it on down and put a straight out prohibition, and any relief would have to come straight through you all on a special something or other.
I'd like to see that done.
I recommend that.
I'd like to see that done.
Okay.
Oh, we
have talked extensively about this. I would like to
talked
see it done for both water,
Yeah.
sewer, and roads. That nobody ought to be able to put in water sewer systems that are not up to the specs of water sewer. And nobody should be able to put a road in that's not up to our spec. I don't care if it's on a private road or not.
That's there.
Because eventually, we're gonna take it over.
Yeah. That's going back to the SAP systems about,
Yeah.
and see, what we do on those is primarily to provide fire flow. That's, we haven't been looking at it
I know developments right now on the island that are currently being built that we're allowed to do private systems not up to the specs.
And
So
Bill
that's
Jenkins signed off on them?
No, he doesn't sign off on a sewer system.
Sure he does.
Health department.
Yeah,
Health Department.
Yeah,
Health
yes.
Department, absolutely.
Health
Bill
department.
Jenkins is right there, Johnny on the spot. If you haven't met Bill Jenkins, I'll take you downstairs.
I would also like to see us move in the direction of having as good a standard as we can for paving roads and subdivisions. Not that they just have to do it, but also the standard. 1 inch of lime rock base and 1 inch of asphalt, just, folks are gonna be asking us to pay the doggone. And that's not
We
gotta
can
get
look,
the standard.
Yeah.
we can look at jacking up the standards, particularly when we get these subdivisions that have a spine road in, and we have multiple other roads that feed off of it that is still classed as a subdivision, but we can look into that. And
It's gotta be done, because what happens is, the roads deteriorate, they say they're a
10,
taxpayer,
15
Right.
years.
and they want us to fix it.
right,
Let me tell you.
great.
All right, David, you'll take care of that?
Yes, sir.
The other thing, we need to move toward, in my opinion, in spite of the fact we don't have stormwater drainage systems throughout the county, buried, pipes and gutter and all that. We ought to require developers to start putting in curbing. And at least run that water to the nearest ditch someplace.
Well, when we put curbing in and put a system in, we are then mandated to have them put ponds in, because to get water quality and quantity. So,
Well, when I said move in that direction,
that's one of the things that we're.
maybe we need to look at the size of the development, if it's so large, there's enough acreage there, do this, because look at the problem we've had out there. You know, we had a fellow stop up a pipe out there on Highland Park Drive on Debris. He stops it up. The neighbors don't call us to tell us there's a problem because they have ditching. They just tell us that the carport's getting flooded. Y'all need to come out here and fix the flooding going into my carport. And Dave, do we not have a problem out there?
David, would it be possible to, and I'm just throwing this out for a question, to at some point in time require developers, when they put in a subdivision, wherever it's at, on St. Simon's or mainland or whatever, to put in curbs, put in sidewalks, and to provide stormwater? Is that other communities do it, why can't we?
We would have to change our standards.
I understand that, but it's
and
time to do it.
Okay.
I mean, one of the biggest complaints we have, as far as, from what I hear in District 3, is sidewalks.
Yep.
You know, we got no sidewalks there. You have the kids, the people want to go out for a walk, or, you know, we was talking about walkability yesterday. You have to walk in the street. And I think that's something as a progressive community, we need to look at doing. If somebody wants to put a development in, then let them put in curbs, let them put in sidewalks, let them put in the storm water drainage that's needed.
We better tell them they can hook up to the sewer after they do all that.
But no, we.
There you go.
All right,
moving right.
Well, I think, look, you're gonna get a lot of pressure from developers, number one, and I'm okay with that. But we have moved from being a rural community to more of a municipal community.
Exactly.
And our codes haven't caught up to that.
That's exactly. And I'm not saying we do it the next year, but, you know, we look to the future.
We need to start working
We
that
need
way.
to work that way.
Seeing where we can do it.
Yeah, because these guys go in and do this stuff, and then we end up paying the price for it, going in and fixing it.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
then you need sidewalks. Oh, Glynn County put in sidewalks, get some better drainage, put in curbs, do all that.
And who puts
You
the
know.
bill? The taxpayers.
I know we're not Atlanta, but you go up there and your son lives up there. I'm gonna tell you, when they put the subdivision up there, it's got everything in it. The developers do it, and the property owners pay for it.
And that's a
You
cost.
know,
It's just a cost of doing
example
business to
of
get what you
what-
want done.
Way
But
things
nobody wanted
got
that. in
done
County
way
a
back
long time
when.
ago.
Yeah, but it
Cottage
increases.
Park,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Fairway Oaks, Bell Point, those are probably three of the oldest subdivisions in the county. And we all know the flooding problems that all three of those subdivisions have had and still continue to have, simply because nobody did what we're talking about right here. The College Park thing, I mean, golly, College Park's 4 feet lower than Alabama Avenue. So I mean, what else is, you know, where's the water gonna go? Same thing, and then of course, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars are we just spending in Fairway Oaks getting that? So those people didn't have water up their front door.
Yeah, we can't continue to let subdivisions be built and we put ditches along the nice roads in there and people's yards, and we just can't do it.
Well, and one person's land, the right to do with his land, it stops when it starts infringing on other people, like flooding them out. But the other thing that we have to keep in mind is to get resistance. Sidewalks, good drainage, those types of things improve property values. They make your property more marketable to people that come in there. So when you have a contractor scream, it's going to cost me $300,000 to do this, you say, well, yeah, and guess what? When you sell them lots off, you're going to be marketing the fact that they got sidewalks and all this drainage and all these different things. You're going to market it.
Just one other plus, you know, we get to a point where we have these developers putting in sidewalks, we don't have to worry about ditches, we got drainage and all. You know, we probably get rid of public works. We got
Good point, good point.
That'd be a real cost saver.
Guys, there's three more things here we want to do, and then we'll take a 10-minute break. Mr. Allen.
Chairman, just real quickly, I don't disagree that sidewalks are very nice enough, but please keep in mind that that asset is deeded to us, and we will then have to take care of that asset. So
True.
if we create neighborhoods with sidewalks, and from a safety standpoint, if there's a strip of grass between the sidewalk and the street, typically most homeowners are going to cut that grass, but some, I mean, they don't have to. So eventually, that's going to increase our costs for maintaining those sidewalks. So just
Yeah, that's
If you would.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Point taken.
I think just one
So
point.
we're trying to cut costs.
Yeah, true.
We keep our stuff.
We'll keep them up in District.
I'm not saying it's not, you know, a good
Dis-
thing.
I'll tell the people in District 3 to cut along.
Hey, if they
with
won't cut the grass, I'll join water sewer, just disconnect.
Okay.
Or charge a tap fee to reconnect.
There you go.
All right, zoning, we've been working with Aaron's office on this for a couple of years. Mr. Brunson suffered through this rewrite. We have essentially a 1966 generation Department of Community Affairs zoning ordinance, and we've updated, primarily concentrating on the definitions and the uses in the districts. And that would hopefully come out hopefully sometime this year, although the one next to it, which is the flood maps and the flood ordinance, is coming out tentatively. We talked to the Army Corps here Tuesday this week, and tentative the date for the release of the draft map revisions is May 15th, although that has been a problem, and
That's when I give my keys back to the bank.
I don't know if that's going to be true, but there are probably going to be in here regarding the fact that we have no freeboard requirement, and I think we're going to be mandated to have that right now. So, freeboard is if this is the flood elevation that says you're in AE 13 and this is 13, that's where you can build to today. If we're going to get what I think we're going to have to get, we're going to have to go and say you're at AE 13, your minimum floor elevation is 14. That's what it is. And out in the velocity zone, it's probably going to be multiple feet. And then there's going to be a new zone between the velocity zones, which are typically along the islands and along the marsh area. There's going to be a transition zone between that zone and the regular AE zones. Right now, where the velocity zone has 3-foot waves as a factor, and then AE zones essentially right side by side now have nothing. So it's essentially a flat surface, and this is a transition zone where it goes from 3 to 0.
David, do we have any kind of timetable when the zoning ordinance updates are going to come before the? We've been doing this for a couple of years now.
I've done 30-some amendments on Aaron's office.
Plus, we need to get these things moving.
Well, one of the things we've done is innovative and try to be user-friendly. Is there's a massive matrix that if you can identify your use based upon the definition, you can go in there and self-help and find out what district it is instead of, calling you all saying, I have this daycare center, I want to put it out here. Well, you can say, okay, go there, look up daycare centers and see what zones you have and verify the district.
I know Aaron has plenty to do, but this is something we need to get done. It needs to be moved forward.
Look at the brakes.